All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Tyler and Lou. Tyler and Lou here. Today we got a lot to get into. It's a jam-packed episode. We're going to talk about a lot of things in the hobby. Brian Gray's tweet, what that means, we're going to get into that. Goldin's Netflix documentary series drops this week. We've got to talk about the Jaylen, Waddle, and T situation over on Whatnot. We'll get into that. The Rangers were up 2-0. Now it's a tied series. The Cavs are down 3-1 again, but this time to the Knicks. So a lot to get into on today's episode. We got Q&A. We got Play of the Week. We got a little bit of everything this week. So it should be a jam-packed episode. But first, we'll start with what's on your mind. Lou, you're pointing, so we'll let you go first. What's on your mind?
No. I had to look something up. For my what's on my mind.
Okay. So Lou's got to look something up. So Ty, we'll buckle down and we'll let you go first.
Cool. Enjoying the NBA playoffs, so it feels like a new season. The Knicks, there's action. We're up 3-1. I will be in Cleveland tomorrow night for the game. I'm pretty excited about it.
I feel like my dad's going with you to that.
I feel like I should drive up there and say what's up, and just watch it live in person.
Both good points. I am going to the Knicks game in Cleveland with Lou's dad tomorrow night.
It's fast.
That is happening. That is happening. And you should definitely drive up there and say what's up. That'd be fun. Maybe we can do some content out front, rip some packs, because that's all the rage nowadays. You know, just outside of Knicks games, people going buck wild and crazy. You can definitely feel the energy in New York City when the Knicks are rocking. Hopefully they don't blow this 3-1 lead. But I feel pretty confident about it. Growing up before our eyes. Pitcher Robinson's actually a nice player. Brunson is legit. But on the other end of the spectrum, the Rangers are blowing it. Their last year, they lost after being up 2-0 to the Lightning. Came home, lost 2 games. Similar situation right now. We need some real energy in Game 5 to turn that thing around. But my PC, Chris Kreider, was burying biscuits early on. He's got 5 goals, 3 games into the series. So that was fun. Pulled out the PC. We were looking at that the other night. A couple other things. Premier League keeps pushing on. Tomorrow is Arsenal versus Man City. So if you listen to this and on Wednesday morning, today at 3 p.m., it's one of the bigger club footy matches of the calendar year. Arsenal versus Man City, 1-2 in the league right now. About 6 games left, 7 matches left in the campaign. And you know, a lot of times this match, kind of neck and neck, may determine who wins the title. It would be a massive one for Arsenal, first in many, many years. And then City is still in Champions League, still in the FA Cup, and pushing forward. So they're fighting for the treble, they call it, which is like if you win multiple trophies in one season, the treble is winning 3. So that's
I've never heard of that before.
Good. Yeah, the treble. Yeah, because you got like your domestic cup.
Yeah.
You've got Champions League or Europa League, and then you've got Premier League, and then they play in a 4th one because there's kind of like the Carabao Cup, and then there's the FA Cup. So you could win 4 trophies. Happens very rarely. There was a big first edition. It's fairly rare, yeah. It's like a once probably every 8-10 years occurrence.
More rare than not rare, some would say.
It's a real accomplishment for a sporting.
Understood.
Team. City's fighting for it, but they play United in the FA Cup final. Jimmy Butler, aka great nickname, Himmy Butler, did some last night. That was an absolute pleasure and joy to watch. I turned it on post Ranger game. They're down 12, 8 minutes to go in the 4th, and he just went ballistic.
Yeah, I saw 6 minutes left in the 4th. They were down 10, and I'm like, wow, yeah, they got it. Like Bucks.
And he just put up like 15 straight, just like made every play under the sun. It was really enjoyable basketball to watch. VCon's 23 days away. We are doing an interview today with 1:37 p.m. on our pickleball platform, Pickle Juice, with Gary, Larry Fitz, and Drew Brees.
Gary who?
Cool. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, okay.
That's a cool little interview we're putting together. Magic the Gathering just two little things. Feels like Magic the Gathering is hot. Every time I get the card ladder email, there's Magic the Gathering new high happening in there. On top of it, we posted this Post Malone was on Howard Stern clip. We did a Card Talk 1:37 p.m. IG collab. It hit over
It's 100,000 views.
Million views. Yeah, it was at like 40, then it was at like 250 over the weekend. It went up to like 1.3. It might be at 1.4 million views right now. People like Magic the Gathering, and Post Malone clearly.
Yeah, Post Malone.
And then there was a fairly decent sale, like $215K for a first edition Charizard PSA 10 on Heritage over the weekend. Which was neat to see. It was a solid number for that card, all things considered. So I think Magic, the Gathering, I think Pokemon, still feel very healthy about all things first edition Pokemon, and vintage basketball. That's what's on my mind.
Lou, what about you?
Two things. Number one, what's on your mind last week was about Yordan Alvarez being amazing, and he is now hurt. His neck is hurt. He's going on the injured list, and who knows when he'll be back. So,
and you said something about his RBIs. He's on pace. And I was like, would that set a record? And you were like, listen, don't get crazy. You might get hurt.
He was due to he always gets hurt. He's just a big dude, so he just gets hurt. So we'll see him when we see him. But anyway, the more important news is Aaron Rodgers has arrived in New York. The King of New York is here. The true King of New York. The man here to bring us salvation has arrived. And it's an exciting time. And weirdly enough, what I had to look up was my initial thought was, I wonder what this is going to do to Garrett Wilson cards. Where he was already, obviously the highest priced wide receiver just based on the Rookie of the Year stuff. But now I'm curious to see what happens. So I was looking and I was trying to find a common card across everybody. So the card I landed on, this might not be the perfect example, but it was the easiest one to find reference points for. The Prism Football patch auto, the out 99, his sold for $183 2 days ago. So this was before the trade, 183 before the trade. Who do you think the next closest of these three players, who has the next closest price card? Chris Olave, Jaylen Waddle, or Devonta Smith?
Devonta Smith.
You think Devonta Smith was the next closest?
Yeah, Devonta Smith stuff actually sells well. We've had a couple recently, but I think it's more of a recency bias thing, so I'm going to go Olave.
It is Jaylen Waddle.
Wow.
Jaylen Waddle sold for $155.
Wow.
Chris Olave sold for $110, and Devonta Smith only sold for $100.
Lou, you should check George Pickens.
That's a good one. Let me check. I should have included him.
Pickens is probably second in wide receivers, 1A, 1B up there. He sells pretty well. I would assume he sells a good bit better than Olave.
No, I can't even find. There's no base ones that have sold. Oh wait, yes they have. They're just redemptions. 135 was the most recent. So above it, in between Olave and Waddle. I think Garrett Wilson cards might go like really crazy, which is a problem for me.
Really?
And that was my what's on your mind.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be what's on my mind today. I was certainly hoping we could just kind of just breeze on by that one. But yeah, I mean,
what's it like being the last place team in the AFC East?
Yeah, I mean, Reg and I talked yesterday. We were driving to dinner, and she's like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets." I said, "Fuck." I was like, "Yep, sure did." I'm like,
"You're in the basement."
I mean, we've recorded podcasts, or we've recorded Card Talk for years now. For years. Patriots, I mean, they beat the Jets. You guys were talking about it last year. Like, oh yeah, Jets are back, man. Jets are good. We beat you both times. Like, I'm like, the Jets suck. Like, they're not good. And they get Lazard. They already got Garrett Wilson, who I'm trying telling people, like, I got a tweet from like 2019. I'm like, Garrett Wilson will be a star. He's really good.
He's very good.
And he's on the Jets, right? You got Lazard. Breece Hall's coming back. You've got.
What about JSN at number 15?
You've got Sauce Gardner. I mean, like, defense is good. Like, we've talked about the Bills and some of their shakiness. Like, what's going to happen there? Like, I think Tua should retire. That's a different conversation for a different day. Like, Dolphins are good. They obviously got speed at wide receiver, but like, man, I don't want to lose to the Jets. Like, you guys just know that. Like, we like different teams, and I think that's what makes this so fun is like we just do not like each other's teams. Like, I hate the two teams you guys like for college football, and I definitely don't like the Jets, and I don't like most teams from New York, hardly any team from New York. So it's just like to see the Jets get a top 5 QB, it's like, ugh. Now, I do think, again, obviously you guys don't care. You guys are on cloud 9. I do think the Jets gave up a lot for the guy that said that he wouldn't play in Green Bay again. Like, he gave up likely a first next year. Pick, if you're going to go to the playoffs, that pick's probably 22, 24 at worst case or best case. So, worst case, I guess, for you. You gave up a second this year, and you swapped first this year, so you moved down 2 picks. I feel like it was a lot, but again, like, you don't care.
First
like,
and a second is a lot for an MVP, a back-to-back MVP.
Swap 2 picks, a second and a first. Yeah, for a guy that's got 1 year left, 2 years left. Like, how many more
I'm
years?
pretty confident it'll be at least 2. I don't think they would have gone the extra mile on the first.
And again, I think you guys would have said we'd have given up a first next year regardless. Like, it doesn't have to be conditional, and you give up a second. Like, you would have given up more if it came down to it. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing I look at is like, you want it when you haven't won in a while. You're like, hey, we want to go back. I don't care what it costs. So I get it, but sucks as a Pats fan for sure. Like, my optimism is definitely creeping down these days. And now
Jets
I'm
are in
like,
the mix.
There was those reports a few weeks ago that said like Patriots are trying to trade Mac Jones. Maybe they have interest in Lamar. I'm like, let's do that. Let's mortgage the whole future. Let's go get Lamar. Like, anything but Mac Jones. I just don't believe in Mac Jones. And I'm like, please, let's just make it happen.
So my new fear is that Trey Lance is going to the Patriots.
I'll take.
That's a fear.
That's my new fear. Yeah.
I mean, you guys got Bill O'Brien. I'm a big Bill O'Brien guy. Him running the OC, I feel good for Patriots about what they're going to do, but it's the Jets time. Yeah, it's the Jets time.
That's a tough division. That's a really tough division.
The Patriots have the worst quarterback and the worst team in the AFC East. That's crazy.
I don't know. I might say the Dolphins might have the worst quarterback.
Why? Mike White's better than Mac Jones.
Fair shot.
All right, so what's on my mind? Love the NFL draft. It has been, as a football card collector, the NFL draft is one of my favorite times of the year. Couple things on my mind. First and foremost, I don't understand where this, like, it's got to be an NFL thing. We talk about this every year with, like, it happened with Zach Wilson, right? Where we see a pro day, or we see some, like, footage not in the game. We see something happen and you're like, this dude's got it, man. This dude is the real deal. Man, he's the guy. And it's like, we don't watch the tape at all. Because if you watch the tape on CJ Stroud for 2 years, like, the best defense Ohio State has played in the last 2 years was the Georgia Bulldogs. Look at CJ Stroud's numbers against the Georgia Bulldogs. Like, this narrative that this S2 test, the cognitive test, that apparently, like, the S2 owner was on McAfee yesterday and said, yeah, some of the scores that got leaked are not accurate. Regardless if he wasn't the highest rated anyways. Did you not see that?
He was shitting on his own tests?
No, he said that some of the leaked scores were not accurate. That
so like the teams are putting out fake scores.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the old NFL draft test that they did that you could do in Madden?
The Wonderlick. They got rid of it.
The Wonderlick.
The Wonderlick is gone. I used to love that in Madden. That was my favorite thing.
I feel like the same guy just renamed his test and sold it.
It was a rebrand.
It was a total rebrand.
No, yeah, I just
S2. Get the
So it's like, Will Levis throws a ball on his knees from the 50 and hits the goalpost. I'm like, that's cool, but like, watch the tape on those guys last year, and it's like, the upside with Richardson, I get he's a physical specimen. Hendon Hooker looked good until he got hurt. He's a little bit older coming up. Like, those are great, but like, Stroud has it on tape, and I don't understand like the narrative that like Ohio State quarterbacks haven't been good in the NFL. That's a fact up to this point. I can't argue that. But the difference with Ryan Day at this point is clearly something. Like, Haskins had some potential, obviously, before he tragically passed. Fields almost broke the rushing record as a rookie. Like, there's certainly some upside to these guys here. And it's like, the narrative we're trying to sell right before the draft, that like, hey, Stroud's not good. He can't coach. Like, he's just Ohio State. It's just this or that. It's so ridiculous. Like, I'll be so disappointed if he goes behind some of these bums. There's Ty
Don't
shaking
get
his head
too
for those that are
emotional.
not listening.
He didn't say that the scores aren't real, Rye. That's not what he said.
I didn't say that he didn't say they were real. I just said that some of them that were leaked weren't real, weren't right.
That's not what he said.
What did he?
All he
quote
said
it.
was take it with a grain of salt. He didn't say it wasn't true.
Let me pull it up because I saw.
I mean, I'm looking at it.
Can you ask ChatGPT if he was also involved with the Wonderlic?
Yeah. Also, I don't want to get bogged down in S2.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, right? It's a little bit of a stretch to say that Ohio State's putting quarterbacks out there at scale.
Oh, I literally just said that. Absolutely, I can't argue the fact that Ohio State has not produced NFL talent in the past, but like Jim Tressel and John Cooper football is different than what Ryan Day does. I mean, Fields was 11th. Like Haskins looked good. I mean, he showed some signs. Obviously, did some things off the field. Like, and that's a whole different conversation, and certainly ended
Fields can run really
tragically. Yeah, I mean, Fields can throw the ball really well.
Three-year flash in the pan to me, but
I'm assuming you would have rather had him though than Zach Wilson.
well. Some would say he brought me to where I needed to be. So I can't think you can get.
No, I only look forward. I only go forward.
That's right.
I don't look back. It fucks up my neck.
Yeah. Right. All right. So, yeah, that's on my mind. Obviously, the NFL draft, Bowman's Best University football comes out this week. I'm
Yes.
excited for that. I'm going to rip a case of that. Probably post that on YouTube, but I'm going to rip a case of that. The draft is it's different. I remember in the past just sitting there and watching the entire draft all weekend. Like, I love it. It's a blast. I enjoy watching the trades happen. Obviously, I was expecting the Rodgers trade to happen on the draft day, but what else happens? Does Lamar get moved? I mean, what do these teams make? Is Trey Lance getting traded? Like, is somebody coming up for somebody? Like,
I wonder if the Jets are working on another trade maybe for draft night. That'd be weird.
I did hear a rumor that the Vikings are super interested in moving up to take Will Levis, which would be awesome for all of these Kirk Cousins isn't that bad guys. Like, Kellen Mond wasn't the guy, I get that, but at some point you got to try to replace Kirk Cousins. Ryan Tannehill sounds like he might be on the way out. The Titans said that they were interested in moving him.
Yeah, it's time to move on from him, I think.
Brother, it's been time to move on him for years.
It's like 3 years. Time
You try to convince us he was like a top 12 quarterback in the league. That was a whole segment on the show.
Like 6 months ago.
When we discussed it, he was. It's been 18 months, by the way. It's been 18 months. Just to be clear.
What
a lot
about
can change in 18 months? Like Tua's ability to even be on the field.
Lou, where he's in.
You're right, Jay. He still might be. And if he wasn't Rodgers as our quarterback, it should have been Tannehill. Over to you, Lou.
I don't know about that. But yes, I'll ride with that because the Jets fans need to stick together today. So I'm with that.
All right, real quick. Who draft night's coming up? Who do you want the Jets to take at 15?
JSN.
Let's go Buckeyes.
Or Skoronski. That's the real answer. But
Skoronski, the Northwestern
lineman,
tackle.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be there, but that would be like the dream. But if not, I'll take JSN happily.
That's who I'm going with, Skoronski. Protect my man, A-Raj.
Yeah.
Open some room for my man, Breece Hall.
He'll be back.
Allow
Jets
for a little,
trade him for like a fourth rounder next year. Like just something terrible. Hope they just butcher it. They're not going to, but one can dream.
It might get.
I just don't want to see him get another weapon like Michael Mayer. Could you imagine?
Oh man, trade me back to like 19 and give me Michael Mayer. Oh boy,
I'll be so disappointed. The
He's
tight end from Notre Dame, stud, like the best tight end in this class. Like,
we have like 100 tight ends, but it doesn't
he's
matter.
good.
I really don't want a Notre Dame player to get drafted, but
they're so good.
Michael Mayer, Lazard, Garrett Wilson,
probably had a
Breece
4.0
Hall.
tie.
Oh man, that sounds terrible. Jets are borderline like top 5 team in the NFL with Rodgers. Throw another piece or two in there.
Right. Let's be very clear. I'm scared of 2 teams in the AFC and like 1 team in the NFC.
Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles.
Yeah. And maybe probably the Niners. So that's 4.
Can we simmer it down a little bit?
You think
Who
you're
are
going
you scared
to
of? Are you scared of the Bills?
Just want to let it play out.
Lou, right now, are the Jets going to win the AFC East?
No.
Optimism was high. Now you said you're not scared of these teams. Not
because he's trying to let it play out.
I'm just saying. You said you
Give
weren't
myself a
scared
little
of
bit
these
of room.
Sounds like you might be a little bit more scared than less scared.
No, listen, we're a playoff team, so we gotta get to January. Get me to January, and we'll figure the rest of it out later.
The Lou quote: "I just want to play meaningful games in January."
Just get me to January.
That's it.
One time.
All right, I do think we should move on. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I want to get into the Brian Gray tweet, see what that might mean.
Yep.
I want to talk about the Topps PSG Triple Auto. I want to get into the Sapphire 101. Haaland was pulled, and the Netflix documentary. But first and foremost, I do think we have to talk about the situation. Blew up on Twitter this weekend. It blew up out of nowhere. The Bleacher breaks 1 of 1, Jaylen, Waddle, NT. I think I first saw about it like Friday, but Lou, you probably know a little bit more about it. You were reading quite a bit on it. It sounds like I kind of paid attention.
Yeah, I was really locked in on the Bleacher break story this weekend.
Where you're being sarcastic.
I was a little bit. I mean, I saw like the tweet. I sent it to the chat. That was pretty much it.
Gotcha. So I'll let you probably talk more about it. I don't know as much, but I think we've got to talk about this situation because at large picture, right? I saw Whatnot CEO Grant came out and said, hey, they ship a lot of packages, 1 million packages a year. That's obviously a lot that, we ship nowhere near that, and mistakes happen and breaks unintentionally, right? But it happens. Like we do this much of that amount of like nowhere near it. And mistakes happen. So I get it. But again, there's been some speculation that again, this is all speculative, but there's been some speculation that some of the text messages that have come out, a lot of the feedback I saw on Instagram personally was that they look scripted. They don't look as authentic. There's a little bit more here. Whatnot has not said anything yet. I'm certainly expecting that will happen here very soon, but wanted to kind of run it by you guys and just get your thoughts on the situation at large and, what it means to the, the sports card hobby in a whole.
Ty, you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't have too much of a take. I haven't dug in. I haven't done investigative research or any of that jazz. I think that where there's sometimes a sniffy sniff, there's a little bit more under the hood there. Seems a little sketch. Reactions seem not good. Everyone loves a little hobby drama. I don't have too much meat to my statement. I if I'm being super candid, like I've heard of Bleacher breaks 3 times, so I don't have much for this. I think what it's calling into question is the responsibilities of the breaking platforms. We've got Whatnot. There's some other platforms that are picking up steam. Selling live on QVC is becoming a bigger thing. Who bears that responsibility? What are the tools that are in place for these sellers? Who has good relationships with the platforms? Who do the platforms turn their eye to? All that jazz is coming into question. The hobbies are a little loosey-goosey, runny-gunny. People can get ahead of themselves with money and forget that they got to take care of their customers the right way. And then there's the other side, which is the drama always gets built. People love to talk. People love to pour gasoline on fires. So I don't have I don't have an opinion who's right, who's wrong. I haven't looked into it enough, and I'm not a judge and jury.
Yeah, I think my main takeaway was you're 100% right, Ty. There's always going to be like the fire that gets thrown on it and all of that stuff, which is always very dumb and unproductive and kind of stops real conversation from happening about these things, because whether it's true or not, which I have no opinion on one way or the other, it just highlights the fact that there's not a lot of rules in place for protecting customers. And I think we talk about that a lot. We being the hobby in general, we talk about customers having protections and making sure that people are being taken care of and making sure we're being good to people and all of that stuff. And then you get on these platforms where the most action is happening and things like cards going missing are happening supposedly. And there's really no response to it other than we'll just refund you. And while that's great, and that should definitely be done, what about the actions that are potentially taking place and what are we doing to prevent that from happening again. And the idea of it happening 3 or 4 or 5 times and it becoming a public issue before it gets addressed, I think is where people get upset, rightfully so. So I think I would like to see it play out more. I'm sure Whatnot has more to say, and obviously put the blare over all of this of, like Ryan said, like Ryan works with them, Ryan does business with them. So I think we as a group will be more understanding and wait to see more information than the public will be. So I would like to see what happens with Whatnot's response before saying anything else, really.
Yeah, it's hard to add a whole lot more than what you two added. Like, I think that's very true. Like the fuel to the fire thing, when it blows up in the hobby, like the hobby loves, I mean, most people, like the world loves a good story, and there's a lot of fuel to the fire there. I think I would echo, Lou, what you said though about, like, you talk about preventative, and I think that's the thing that I see the most in this is, I talked about it with you guys earlier about, if this happened on Instagram, this happened on Facebook, this happened on YouTube, any platform that is used to broadcast, but not an intentional selling app, the reimbursement towards the buyer would have been zero. Instagram's not giving anybody anything back. YouTube's not giving anything. Facebook would tell you, no thanks. Like, we don't know what this is. Like, there wouldn't be any support there. So I believe Whatnot has, because this isn't the first time this happened on Whatnot. Like, I'm not oblivious to this. Obviously we sell a ton on Whatnot. It is a big part of our business. I am not oblivious to that. I love selling on Whatnot. I love working with Whatnot. I believe they're genuinely good people. This isn't the first time this has happened on there, but Whatnot has tried to make it right after the fact. But that would be part of my biggest feedback to Whatnot is some of it needs to be more proactive and have some of these things in place from the start rather than just being reactionary. And it's, hey, sorry, this happened. We'll be more strict. We'll make those rules after the fact. If some of the harsher stipulations to get on the app or harsher penalties are in place ahead of time for these things to happen, maybe they might not happen as much. If the penalty was far more severe for doing something like this, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it's probably a lot less likely to happen. You would have things as a business in place to prevent some of these cards from going missing. Obviously, it's human error, like things are going to happen. There's a good amount of cards that this has come out of sense, like, hey, I didn't have this T-Law, this Romo 101, the Waddle. This isn't the first time a big card has gone missing. Again, not here to argue the volume, but I think tougher stipulations in place to get more preventative and more proactive on the upside would prevent some of these things on the backside. Again, I expect Whatnot will take care of this and will do the buyer right. It obviously doesn't give them the Waddle. It doesn't change. I don't know how that situation is going to unfold, but I think that's my biggest feedback is there's things that we can do now that, like, hey, this has happened once, this happened twice, this happened 3 times. Like, this has happened before on Whatnot. At this point, it's, hey, the penalty needs to be harder and selling on there needs to be tougher, because if not, the hobby is already very critical of Whatnot for some of the things that have happened in the past. To me, this is an opportunity to really set the bar straight on, like, hey, if this happens again, there's a lot less leeway. This penalty is much more severe, and I think those things will stop happening. But yeah, it's, again, I'm not here to play judge and juror, like Ty said. It's just, to me, it's harder stipulations in place can help prevent some of this from happening in the future.
On the back of that, Pokemon had its own little card scandal. Did you guys see that at all?
That was insane. Absolutely insane.
Wait, I'm gonna be right back, by the way. Hang on.
Someone got caught, working at the printing facility, taking the hits, and went to go sell them, based on what I know and what I see on the internet, at like a local card shop. And it came back like, what is going on here? It was the Fusion Strike packs.
Yeah.
I believe.
And it didn't look like it was a few cards. It looked like it was an insane amount of them. Like stacks of this big, of unsleeved, like what are they called? Hollows, like EXs, like the best stuff in the packs. I mean, these stacks were humongous. What are those? Are those
I got Pokemon
Crocs?
Crocs for my birthday.
Wait, let me see.
Very premium. Look at the back too. See that right there?
Fire,
Dude.
Official Crocs.
Official. They're so gas and they're so comfy. I've never owned Crocs
crazy.
before. They're my favorite thing ever. Wait, sorry to sidetrack. There was a guy stealing all the hits off the production line. Zippers here, by the way.
Yeah. So I saw the photo on IG. Again, I'm not in the Pokemon world. Like Ty is certainly, he knows more about it than either of us do. Yeah, you know more about it than Lou and I do. This
situation for sure.
That is a fact. But I saw it, and again, like you see this picture that leaked. This table's humongous. It's probably an 8-foot table, and it's got piles and piles and piles of like what appears to be the better stuff in the product, and it's all laid out. Like, I mean, there's got to be.
And he just pulled up on a card show with that?
A card shop, and was like, "Hey, I want to move this stuff. You want to buy it?"
We're like, "Where'd you get all this stuff?"
Yeah, and it's
like
a lot of stuff.
That's like in Goodfellas when they do the Lufthansa heist, and it's like you can't bring all the money to one place. Like, what are you doing?
That's exactly right. I watched Goodfellas like 3 nights ago.
All right,
correct. Poor execution by that guy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to speed some of this up here because we're gonna run out of time. I know Todd's got a hard stop here, but
big meeting, important meeting that no one can know about, confidential meeting that I got to go to. So I apologize.
And that's a good way to get everyone to try to figure out what the meeting is.
Yep.
No Skip play of the week. Okay.
All right, real quick. I have seen a lot about it on social. Shout out to the Goldin team for some of the promo on it because I've seen a ton about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, I believe it's the 28th. Yeah, 3 days. It says 28th above.
Okay, great. You're right. I'm wrong.
So 27th, 28th. At some point this week, the Netflix documentary about cards and collectibles through Goldin will drop. What's the title of it? Golden
Touch, the King of Collectibles.
Golden Touch, the King of Collectibles. There we go. Lou and Jay were talking about it earlier, and some stuff I didn't realize on it, but it sounds like there's some big people involved in the production of this. Omaha Productions, Peyton Manning's company. Jay said the guy that did 30 for 30 was involved in it. The directors, Jay, I think directors of Pawn Stars were involved. Like, sounds like there's some big names involved in this. So I've seen the trailer. It looks pretty good. I will definitely watch it, but just wanted to, you guys have any initial thoughts on it? It looks pretty good. So I think it'll be something that I'll pay attention to.
I'm glad it's not just cards. I'm glad it's like other memorabilia.
Yeah. Collectibles
in general, I think. And it'll be fun to watch. Like I saw, because Omaha's involved, I think there's gonna be like a lot of Peyton Manning. Also, there's cat hair everywhere. There's gonna be a lot of Peyton Manning, so that'll be fun. I'm excited to watch Peyton Manning on TV. I would love to know what the most rare thing they have.
Well, I saw one of the things they're talking now, and that is, I think they just dropped earlier today or yesterday, was like Jordan's flu game shoes.
Yeah.
Really?
Saw that.
Yeah.
In the trailer, they had a Jackie Robinson jersey that was pretty sick too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the documentary or not. I have no idea, but yeah, Jordan flu game shoes. That's insane. Like, that's a massive collectible.
Massive piece.
Massive.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Real quick, Ty, Lou.
Shout out to Goldin. They put in a lot of work on that, and it's going to be pretty big, and I think helpful, like good in the collectibles community.
Agreed.
And I think it's going to have a lot of people talking about collectibles for at least a minute. I'm sure it'll be in the new and featured part of Netflix. That's a big deal. Congrats to them.
Yep. Very cool. What are we thinking at this point, you guys, on the Rangers Devils series? It was 2-0 Rangers. We did the reverse part. We did the reverse par J, right? Obviously, I'm not sitting too good
still
on that.
super in play.
Super in play. The reverse par J. So Jay said that the Knicks and the Devils were locks. So I went out there and did a reverse par J and bet on the Cavs and Rangers parlay to win both series. Obviously not looking ideal at this point, down 3-1 for the Cavs. Certainly, I saw Stephen A. Smith saying the Knicks want this one bad. Mitchell was supposed to be a Knick. Like, they want this one bad. Looks like they're going to win it at this point. Hopefully that's not the case, but Rangers won, man. They were up 2-0, like Ty said. They were up 2-0 last year, blew it again. That Rangers team has so much talent on it. I mean, that roster is stacked. They obviously went out and got Kane. They got Tarasenko. Those, a little bit older, but like Kreider, and I always forget the centerman's name. Like, got the long hair. Dude's a stud. Igor, like they're so good. It just right. Obviously, Devils are good too, but what a series. Playoff hockey's been fun. Playoff basketball's been fun. Like the playoffs in general, like it just feel like it's so different than the regular season. I'm tired of seeing it was 1-0 Kings. Well, then McDavid and the Oilers come back. They tie it again. Okay, chance to go up. Nope, they lose again, 2-1. Then they almost lost game 4, and they're like, nope, actually come back. I think McDavid had 3 assists. They come back, tie the series. I just want to see Edmonton win a damn series. That's all I want. And it's like, it just seems like they're trying so hard to lose it, and then they try so hard to come back in it. I'm just fired up for playoff hockey.
They're grinding it out. That's what playoff hockey's all about. Rangers got to get it going. I'm a little nervous. They were super flat. They do have the talent. I still feel good. I mean, what's happening is Hughes is showing up Laffy. And we need a little bit more from Laffy. But overall, goalie change in hockey is always a weird thing. Truly always a weird thing. And we're dealing with this dude Schmid. Friggin' Schmid came in and ruined my party. And that's always been the goalie change, vibe change is always a scary thing in hockey. And we just got to take the top off a little bit. Patty Kane, we just looked uncomfortable. And the power play's got to get going. So, I mean, the last 2 games were 2-1. It's not like they've been beating the brakes off of us. But we've lost, I think, 5 straight playoff games at the Garden now for the Rangers, and that's not good.
That's really unfortunate. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of the Islanders series too.
Islanders down 3-1, right?
Yeah, they're in trouble, but it's been a fun series.
All right, so we're gonna skip play of the week. So a couple more brief topics to get to here. We'll do play of the week next week. I know Jay said there's only 3 plays this week, so if you want to get a play in for next week, have a chance to win that. Again, feel free to reach out to Jay on the Facebook page, Card Talk Pod, or on IG. So we do have some Q&A, but one of the things I wanted to talk about, did you guys see there's a new Topps PSG set coming out? It has a triple auto with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. From my understanding, there will be a parallel number to 5 and a 1 of 1. So 6 total copies made. I have a feeling, again, I'm not into soccer every day. Ty, you're certainly the soccer guy here. It's not something that I involve myself with on a regular basis, but I have a feeling that card will matter in cards and definitely have some demand with only 6 total copies.
Yeah. Woke up to a text. I go to sleep around like 10 o'clock nowadays.
Good for you.
Early sleep.
I was in bed last night right around that same time, Ty. 9:30, 9:45.
I went to bed at 2:30.
Nice.
I'm literally up like just after that. Like 4 a.m. I'm up. I'm ready to go. Like
so bad.
You're a 4 a.m. guy?
Yeah, 4:30. I only get like 6.5 hours of sleep. I just can't sleep 8 hours.
That's why you're you and I'm me.
Put your alarm for 4:30 or
no, naturally.
You're a natural 4 a.m. wake up.
When I go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, yeah,
You're
absolutely.
Like good for you, man.
Like I only need 6 in it. Like I can't get more than like.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm like amazed.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I wish I could sleep 8 hours. I wish I was getting up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at 9:30. That would be great. 8.5 hours of sleep. That's awesome.
Damn.
Woke up to a text from my friend Rocky, who's a big supporter of PSG, and he's pumped. Culturally, I think the card's going to matter. Those are 3 big names. There's only 6 of them.
Stickers.
There'll be stickers.
I think they're stickers.
Yeah, they'll definitely be stickers.
Yeah.
Triple auto. It's better than not having it.
It's definitely better.
I like the card.
Certainly better.
I'd love to have one. Feels like it'll just naturally be very
Expensive.
pricey, and so I get lost on some of those like brand new cards that are super expensive.
Speaking of that, 2 of those relatively recently. One, the Erling Haaland Sapphire 101, like Pap. I'm going to call it a Pap because I don't know how to pronounce the word properly. But like the Erling Haaland 101 from Sapphire rookie was pulled. Big card, 6-figure card. And another 6-figure card that actually sold was the Rock Prism. The black. Was it first year black? I think that $126,000. That is a major wrestling card sale. That's a humongous card.
It's a big card sale.
Big time.
Wrestling. If you go to Card Ladder, I mean, the index is around culture stuff, entertainment stuff, wrestling is all like kind of holding firm. People like to collect that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
agreed.
less of it made. Maybe these people are just more well known. I mean, look, we were on a string of like 3 weeks in a row saying the word politics, but don't let The Rock get sneaky and like make a little run for.
That would be
Oval Office.
wild. That would be wild. All right, so a lot of topics covered this week. Obviously, we'll get back to play of the week next week, but let's wrap up this episode with some questions. Jay says we got a few here. You got Rick Ellis cards. Shout out to Rick real quick.
Can I pause 1 second?
Yeah.
Will Levis went from 50-1 to 10-1 overnight to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, on Reddit, they're saying it's because he's telling his family and friends he's going number 1.
What?
And I think it might be less than 10-1 now.
Yeah, as of 51 minutes ago, it was 10-1, so it's probably DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, he's plus 400.
That's 4-1. I think, and I saw
Oh my god!
something on Reddit,
why?
like he told his friends or something that who's got the number 1 pick?
The Colts.
Carolina Panthers.
Oh, Carolina. Yeah, sorry, the other C.
Colts are right there though. I think. Yeah.
That's insane. That'd be insane and a classic. It's funny this year. There's two. I know we talked about the draft already, so I'll go fast. There's now two guys who are jumping up crazy late in the draft process that are objectively not as good as the real top 2 guys, and it happens every year. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm
Penn
on
State
my.
transfer. We should answer this question, James.
Yeah, we should. Sorry.
Will Levis transfer from Penn State.
Rick Ellis says, "What's a card you presume is still in packs that you'd love to pull?"
That's hard.
Steph Curry 101 Topps Chrome Superfractor. Last year they made Topps basketball. It's never surfaced publicly.
That would probably be my pick too, just because I can't think of anything else.
Or the Luka 101 Prism Black.
I would pick the Curry over that, so I'll stay with the Curry.
That's
I'd
what I would
love
agree.
to pull a first edition Hollow Blastoise out of a nice booster pack from Pokemon.
That would be crazy.
If I had the chance to somehow rip one of those packs and then pull any of the first editions, obviously Charizard, but just to keep it interesting, I'm going to say Blastoise.
There's a dove on my balcony right now.
Jordan Dove, Packers. Is that a sign?
Jordan Love cards are kind of
Hot.
There's a
Hot.
moment right now.
Hot.
They're hot.
That's the word to describe Jordan Love. I'm not here to say that they're a good buy, they're a bad buy, nothing like that. But to state the fact, Jordan Love cards are definitely hot right now. For sure. Undeniable.
What's
Card collector 1116.
That's a good question.
What's one sporting event you would sacrifice never buying a card again to go to?
Jets Super Bowl.
No.
I would never touch a piece of cardboard ever again the rest of my life.
Nothing. Zero. Never in a million years. To never touch cardboard ever again.
What if I told you Ohio State never won a natty ever again, or they win a natty and you can't collect cards anymore?
I would give up no national titles.
Yeah.
This is all I want to do with my life, so the answer is beyond simple for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know if I also weirdly have one. I don't know. My brain maybe works weird, but I feel like I can and will go to any sporting event that I want to go to in my life.
Yeah. Fair.
So whether that's World Cup final or anything like that, I think it would probably be like owning a football team, a soccer team, and having them compete for like a cup final.
Yeah, like that Wrexham thing that's the dream scenario.
Yeah.
That promotion, that video of that celebration was
like that.
iconic.
Yeah, that's what I would give up to be. Like
I would
Ryan
do anything
Reynolds
for that feeling.
with Wrexham. Like pick up the squad, turn it around, get them to where it matters, and then they pull it off. Like that would be.
Yeah, at that point, I would trade anything for that feeling. Well, that's like Israel Adesanya, right? Didn't he say something about that? Like, I wish you guys could feel how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. That's what
But
yeah. But as just like a fan, like it needs to matter.
mhm.
And I was gonna say like a Penn State national championship, but I'll be honest. I don't think I would enjoy a neutral site as much as I would. Like if we were the 12 seed and beat the 1 seed in the playoff at home.
That's
The
better than
home
winning
environment
it.
just matters more to me. In the
Yeah, it
stadium.
sucks that they could never do it like that. Like it should be a home game. You know what I mean? Like they should play it like that, but they can't.
Yeah. Maybe the Rose Bowl, but outside of that, it's kind of like all right.
They're not doing the national championship game at the Rose Bowl, right? I feel like they should.
I don't think so. I don't think
That's
they would.
unfortunate.
I don't think there's enough like going on around it. Can't host.
I feel like that's the museum.
Pasadena.
That's the biggest college
it
football
just
stadium.
I don't think it can. There's too much corporate stuff going on for Pasadena.
Probably. Flagship cards.
Flagship card says, what order will the top 3 QBs go in the draft? What do I wonder what will actually happen?
I wonder what. I guess it depends who you consider the top 3, right? Because I think the first 2 are probably.
I would just pick the order you think they'll get drafted, regardless of who you think your 3 or 4 is.
Bryce, CJ, Richardson.
Where's Will Levis?
I'm not going to react to new information. I can't just change my whole opinion based on.
Let's go, Lou. My God. Yeah. I would love that to be the case, and I really, really think CJ is 1A or 1B this class. So I think it would be a Zach Wilson type miss if you take Will Levis. I'm just not going to say he's better than CJ Stroud.
Throws the ball really far, though.
Yeah, on his knees. That's great, man.
You heard of Josh Allen? He throws the ball far, too.
Yeah. Right now, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go slightly different than Lou. I really think CJ will end up going second. I think it'll be Bryce Young, Stroud, but I think Will Levis will be the third taken. Then I think it'll be Richardson and then Hooker. 5 in the first round.
5 in the first round sounds right. Could yeah, 5, yeah.
Bryce Young, Stroud, Will Levis.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty straightforward.
All right, Luke Sports Cards 10. Am I wrong for seeing the market increasing and getting hotter the past 2 months?
You would know this better than me, Roy.
Yeah, I don't know about hotter. I've talked about it before on the show. Like, number of transactions in the shop is certainly up. The number of like people buying something is certainly higher. I think if you watch a lot of the big auctions on some of the big cards, those continue to decrease from peak. Like, this card sells for this, and then it goes down on a lot of the cards. Not everything. This isn't a mass generalization, but a lot of them have gone down. So it's interesting because like those drop, but the number of transactions, I think people are getting smarter with their money, but I also think the hobby is is more affordable than it was during peak COVID. Like, hobby boxes don't come out at, $2,000 for a box of Prism like they did during COVID. Like, that is very different. Prism football's like $700 a box. Like, that's a third of what it used to be during, the peak. So I think it's allowing people to really partake in the hobby more, which is good, as there's a lot of product, like a lot of cards to, get involved in. So, yeah, I'm not sure I would say hotter, but I don't think it's like I'm not sitting here being like, oh man, like nobody's buying anything. Like, there's definitely a lot of our number of transactions across a lot of our business in multiple different places we sell, right? Obviously, Whatnot being a big one, the shop being a big one. Those are our biggest two. Like, the number of transactions is certainly up on both of those from, 60 days ago or 6 months ago. It certainly has gone up.
Card Ladder has the major indexes over the last month, and I'll just pull out a couple. This is 1 month percentage change for indexes. TCG 83 is up 2.5%. Entertainment is up 1.3%. Pokemon is down 0.5%. Football is down 1.7%. Baseball is down 2.3%. The Card Ladder 50, just kind of the index of the 50 cards, is down 3.5%. Soccer's down 3.9%. Hockey's down 5.8%.
Wow. Yeah, again, it doesn't seem like it's like way up across scale, but again, I still think there's people buying and selling cards. I think it's a hobby, it's a healthy market right now. Again, we talked about this when like COVID was a thing. Like cards doing this forever, that's not sustainable. That's not healthy. Like things don't go up in perpetuity forever. Like that's just not how it works. So ebbs and flows in the market, things going down that don't perform, things going up that perform. Like that's good for the market. That's how it should work. DMB, how did Lou become an Astros fan? You're muted.
I think I've told the story before, but I was without a baseball team in like 2011. I was a Yankees fan when I was a young kid. I had the Derek Jeter autographs. I had the pinstriped wallpaper. I was young and dumb, and that's what happens when you're a kid and you grow up in the New Jersey area. You root for the Yankees, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I kind of like moved away from baseball. I actually went to a game once, and I saw a guy get hit in the head with a comebacker, and it like scared me, and I stopped watching baseball for a while. But then like 2011, I was trying to get back into baseball. I was playing a lot of fantasy baseball. And my best friend Matt is an Astros fan, so I hopped on with them when they were like the worst of the worst, and that was kind of how it started.
I love it. Started at the bottom, now you're here.
Literally with the Astros.
Go Yankees. My team.
Yeah, your team.
All right.
I don't really care about them.
Drew B's sports card. Would Rodgers solidify his name as an all-time legend by taking the New York Jets to the Super Bowl?
I will tattoo his face on my body if they win a Super Bowl.
Jay, bookmark that.
Yeah.
Happy to get that.
He didn't say win. He said take them.
All right.
Oh, taking, no. But winning, I will tattoo him on my body.
But to answer the question, Rodgers goes to the Super Bowl. They don't win. They go to the Super Bowl with the Jets. Does that solidify him as an all-time quarterback?
No, I don't think
so.
He's
already an all-time quarterback.
How high? How high are we talking?
Top 5.
Oh, no.
Currently?
Right now? Yeah.
We just said all-time.
You think Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 all-time quarterback right this second?
No, I said all-time. I didn't say top 5. I didn't put a number on it.
I did.
Yeah, Lou did.
Well, I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback, but
top 20. Yeah, I could get behind.
20? I would say top 10.
Really, man. Talent-wise, like he's good.
I'd have to go look. You're probably right. I have to go look. The way you guys are reacting, I'm wrong. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's good.
Also, that's my guy, so I'll say whatever now.
Yeah. All right. Card Adam. If Leeds get relegated, will Lou keep supporting them, or will he be like Ryan and just pick another team? Let's just be very, very clear about this. Lou had a team and then changed it immediately. Like he changed.
They got their ass kicked this weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
Let's not talk like Ryan. Like Lou's already done this. He also liked Michigan, and when they weren't winning games, he's like, "Hey, my sister's going to Georgia."
No, that's not right. That's not right.
We have the clip. Yeah, my sister goes to Georgia. Go Dogs.
Yes, that's true.
Let's not talk about like winning. Ryan's the only person jumping teams here. I root for players because my team is so bad.
I'll say this. I'll join this crew. Growing up, my sports fandom outside of the Yankees and obviously Penn State football, my professional sports fandom, I guess mainly NFL, was based around NFL players. So when Larry Johnson went to the Kansas City Chiefs, I was a huge Chiefs guy. When LeVar Arrington went to the Redskins, I was a huge Redskins guy. And I just want to put that out there because you guys were beating yourselves up.
Anyone who says that they weren't liking multiple teams when they were a kid,
Larry Johnson
is a liar.
Oh boy, Larry Johnson was the guy.
What's up with Larry Johnson these days, huh?
He's somewhere chilling, bro. I don't know. He was like getting into domestic.
He's a little bit
early. He was like a CTE before CTE was CTE.
Whoa.
Yeah, but isn't there like some? Wasn't he saying like NFL is like rigged now or something like that? Wasn't there like a whole big?
No, wasn't that Arian Foster?
Well, yes, but I also think Larry Johnson did it. I think Larry Johnson did it first.
I don't know, but I saw something. There's a little 420. Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams got a bad rap, bro. Half the league gets stoned
was a
now,
dog.
like, and plays.
Just think about that, like the weed. What like?
The weed thing, like KD does podcasts stoned and is like,
No,
I'm
but I'm
stoned.
just like imagine
Allegedly.
like I again after being in cards consistently since 2006, I
Is he
lived through
lighting weed?
I lived through prime time
Oh.
Josh Gordon. Prime time Josh Gordon. Like Josh Gordon was like the guy in the
Yep.
NFL and was in Cleveland. Dog. He was
Yeah.
so good, but like couldn't
He
stay
was
off the
good.
weed. Just couldn't stay off the weed.
Stay off the weed.
And it like cost him like
Off the weed.
his career. Like a little Stephen A.
But-
Smith. Stay off
But it's
the
bullshit.
weed.
It's
But I'm just saying,
bullshit.
like, imagine if he was there now. Like, if that would have happened now, like,
I
same
get
thing
it.
happened to Martavis Bryant. Like,
Speaking
couldn't stay off the
of
weed.
Josh Gordon, what made me think of that was my one homie Flo is the biggest Josh Gordon fan I know and would always have him on his fantasy team. Yahoo just announced they purchased this company, Wager, and they're doing peer-to-peer gambling integrated. So now in season-long fantasy on Yahoo, you're going to be able to put legitimate wagers with whoever you're playing or players or week over week. There's going to be a lot of fun, like peer-to-peer gambling in Yahoo
we need to
fantasy
start
football.
that for Card Talk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, I won't lose money this week.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to gamble with me, bro.
All right.
Latest
Well,
launch. I got to go to this super secret high important meeting.
Yes.
shout out to everybody for the questions. We do have a latest launch. It's a big week this week. Like, I don't think that can be understated. Bowman baseball comes out. Drew Jones, first Bowman rookie autos.
We have 1 minute. We have to go. The new thing where everything's a bounty. I'm over it. Sorry.
You're over it?
I'm over it.
Interesting.
A lifetime bounty for $1 million for a Drew Jones superfractor.
It's a little ridiculous in my opinion, too.
Next.
All right. Bowman's best university football. I talked about that earlier. Excited for that. Triple auto of Stroud, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams. I think that'll be fun. I know there's some more Buckeyes in this. I don't know, Ty, if there's more Penn State or if there's more other players, but the checklist was deeper. Julian Fleming's in it. Jack Sawyer's in it. Those guys were not in Bowman Chrome University. So shout out to Tops already for just getting more guys in this set. I think that'll be fun. 2 autos a box. I would imagine it'll be around 150 a box. You've got Contenders Optic Football. If there's one thing I've learned about Lou over the years, he definitely appreciates a good Contenders Optic product.
That's right.
He's talked about that before. You got Topps UEFA Club Competition Soccer. You've got Upper Deck Skybox, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. You've got Panini UFC Prism, Sage Hit High Series Football Blasters, and Topps Athlete Unlimited All Sports. So quite a bit of product this week. I think the highlights here.
Athlete Unlimited All Sports.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
what
I
it
was
says.
looking
So
at it.
couple highlights: Bowman baseball, Contenders Optic football, Bowman's best university football, and Panini Prism UFC. So certainly a big release week.
We have
That's
to
good
go, but
stuff.
we're gonna have to do some research into this all sports thing because there's things going on here.
All right. Well, we'll look into that. We'll talk about it next week. But shout out to everybody who made it this far. Jam-packed episode, but we'll see you guys next week.
Peace
Peace
and
and
love.
love.
Peace.
Wow, jinx. Wow, same time.